I'm giving this has been a point of contention.
Part
There are
two.
$241,677.36 CDGB funds that were allocated for rental assistance in 2021 or 2020, 2021, I think. But anyhow, the money is sitting there, it's not been spent. Now, I don't know about everybody else in the room, but they want to move the money to do street repair. The council has no problem with them doing the street repair, but what we have asked is that this money be left in that pot. This money expires in September, and I made a recommendation to the mayor to move the money to the court, because the court is the one who oversees the evictions in the city. And the evictions are, the people getting evicted are the people that need to use this money. So, and on Saturday morning, I woke up at 6:30 only to find out on the news that there are people living here on Euclid Avenue that need a place to go because the building is in foreclosure, is flooding, etc., and going into a bad way. And we're trying to move the money that's supposed to help them get out of that situation to do street repair. So, I don't feel comfortable with this, and I was told at a meeting on Friday that was not the case. But when we came back and I reviewed the materials again, clearly the funds have been zeroed out. When you look at the documents with regard to this particular legislation, all of the funds have been zeroed out. This is a public notice here for what community development has to turn in, and that line item is zero. And so all of the money is now being moved down so that we can do street repair. Charles, do you have any input here? Because I was told that was not the case, but that is the case when I look it up.
So, good evening, Councilor.
Good evening.
If I heard you correctly, so, Director Leach, all he demonstrated was, from that document, is that the money's not being allocated, which it was initially for rental registration. And he's showing you that the allocation is now not in rental registration, now it will be allocated to street registration. As far as money going to the court, those are federal dollars. It can't be moved to the court. It has to stay within the CDBG.
Can I ask a question? So, if it can't go to the court, how's the people supposed to be getting, okay, we know that these people out here need help with their rent. This money is supposed to be helping with rent
And security.
and security. We need this money to go to these people.
So the issue was, you may think there's a need, but there wasn't people coming to housing networks they weren't going to them. It wasn't as many people as you would imagine that was going to them for rental assistance.
So how did you advertise? How did you advertise?
I think they had flyers. I remember they had flyers on the time.
How often?
And it was, and again, they used CHN to do the marketing, to get the word out.
Well, then we need to move to another person to get the word out that we have money for people. Stop being evicted.
So with Director Leach, I think he mentioned to me, and I think he mentioned to council that CHN was utilized by not just East Cleveland. They were basically the experts in this area, and they were utilized by not just East Cleveland, but all the surrounding counties to administer all these coronavirus dollars to help with rental assistance. So they were the ones to go to do that. So to your point of using someone else, they were the experts. Even the county were using them to again get the word out administer the program, manage it, and it just so happened, it just wasn't that many. Even if the need is there, just unfortunately, there wasn't that many people coming to them to utilize all of the dollars.
Okay, so, excuse me, I'm not finished yet. So the court did they did not, tell them about this?
I
They
can't
didn't
speak on-
represent this to these people cause I come into this building all the time. The courtroom is loaded with people getting evicted. Loaded, wall to wall. So, why not?
I can't speak.
Expose
I don't know,
this.
Yeah, I don't know what, everybody's case is different, so I don't know necessarily in this case, you may see a lot of people in this courtroom, you just don't know each case may be different. I can't speak on whether the court was promoting it. Everybody knew about it.
No, everybody did know about it, cause everybody would've known about it, they wouldn't be getting evicted. So everybody don't know about it. I'm just now finding out that this is a big problem now, because now I'm finding out, now I'm gonna have to put it in my newsletter. Because you never came to us about it, never.
Well,
This is
thing
the first
we-
conversation that I actually had with you about that, or it would've been everywhere.
Well, it
It's
wouldn't
not-
be, it wouldn't be necessary with me, but I know Director Lee.
Yeah, I
said-
understand, with him,
I
he
believe
never,
it, yeah, I believe
he
it.
probably had meetings, but he didn't have the meetings with the right people. Council need to know what's going on too, and that's what's wrong with our city. We don't get the full information. And then it comes back on council, and council really ain't doing nothing. It's really miscommunication.
I believe Director Leach, I know he's not here, but I know he does, from my perspective, does a good job trying to send, I know he sends a lot of emails, communication to council, he shows me the emails.
Even if he sent it to council, he did not put that we have funding for people getting evicted. Or this would have been all on the news. You know how we open our mouth, you know how we work it out.
I understand, I'll
Okay.
talk to him tomorrow and see if he can, demonstrate, some correspondence that,
Okay,
No.
thank you.
I didn't know you
No,
said.
no, I'm not.
Okay, so, go ahead, I recognize you.
Mr. Yin, if I had known that there was rental assistance, I could have put it out in my newsletter. And
That's your
I'm getting
job, it's
a lot
not
of
put it out.
feedback on my newsletter and the value of my newsletter. But I didn't find out that there was rental assistance until I went through the mayor's budget in detail and saw that it was sitting there unspent. We also talked last Friday about having a fair to show what is available. And my point there was we don't need to assume that everybody's gonna make it to an event. We need to get the information to the people. We need emails, we need it to be on the website, and we need to have flyers that can go to people so that people know that this money is available to them. We have a lot of people who are having trouble with their houses and who qualify for this kind of funding.
Go ahead, I'm sorry, I'm just so disappointed in that area.
Finance director, the 1.1 is to be used for resurfacing the street or is it for rental? Explain that so that people know what's going on here, because it's kind of confusing.
So,
The one, the
it used to,
1.1.
initially was, the
Still
1 point
is.
was initially allocated for rental assistance.
Okay, is it still for rental assistance or is it for something else now?
Well, there's legislation before you requesting to make a change to it.
To make it for street resurfacing?
That's correct.
I'm looking very closely at this, and this is not the street resurfacing. This document states that this is for MLK facilities upgrade and food distribution. What? So you gotta look closely at this, and you have to, if you go to the legislation, request form, and I'll just read that briefly. The Department of Community Development is requesting substantial changes to its FY 2019 action plan for work to be done using CDBG-CV funds on the MLK facility. Reallocation of CDBG-CV funds from the rental assistance and food distribution MLK facilities upgrade for unforeseen work needed to complete the HVAC units at the MLK facility. Change order to the HVAC unit. One requires additional duct work and a curb built to allow the unit to operate efficiently. Change order to HVAC unit 2 requires a new transformer installed and additional electrical work. Total cost for the changes are $241,677.36.
So did the legislation say street resurfacing?
No.
So where did
So-
street resurfacing?
The street, I think the street resurfacing came in because the monies were being added to the street resurfacing. There's 4 streets that they're trying to resurface that had overages, and I think that's how it got twisted.
Okay.
And then we already had money for that anyway.
Right.
We had money for that, and we still got money for that, so find that money and use it for that.
So what is the preamble say?
The preamble, can you read it again? The preamble on,
7322.
yes.
A resolution authorizing the mayor to accept the amendment to the amendment set forth in resolution 28-21 for the changes to the FY 2019 action plan for an additional $241,677.36 in CDBG funds, as well as changes to the FY 2021 action plan, increasing the cost to $1,021,693.42 due to unforeseen circumstances.
Okay, so I know street resurfacing came in this conversation.
Not
even-
in this one, not in this one.
Yeah, yes, it
Yeah,
is.
it did.
I'm just
The
saying,
preamble
but
didn't say
it
anything
came
about it.
in because we had money for it, and then we supposed to have fix other streets. Over there by Eddie Road, over there, by Eddie Road, supposed to be,
I
and
understand.
advance, I mean, we
I
already
guess I
went
want
through.
to focus this.
I
with that.
understand that, but I'm just saying, we have money to fix these streets, so we need to find that money. We really do.
Okay, it sounds like it's, so that's a separate issue,
Right.
but this preamble,
Yeah, I know
Exactly.
it's different.
and
I
as you
understand.
mentioned,
Madam Chairperson, the second paragraph, and I don't know it's connected to street improvement,
Mhm.
but the second paragraph says, whereas the Department of Development is requesting substantial changes to the fiscal year 2021 action plan for street improvement project.
Project.
So it's all confusing. We need a document.
We need
Can get
everything,
clean-
a
Mayor
dialogue.
King, can we get a clean document?
Yeah, and the dialogue of what you doing. Because y'all confuse us all the time, and then y'all make us look bad because we don't know what y'all doing. And y'all slip stuff in at the last minute.
and then their director lease was available to, not necessarily today, but he did come to one of the meetings trying to.
Friday.
Friday.
Right.
Friday meeting was not a council meeting.
And it wasn't,
Understand.
and it was no council meeting.
And we need to
I think
have
Mary, we want to say
administration present at council meetings
if
so
we
that our questions can be answered.
And we need to fix this.
Ms. Kelly, on Mayor Trent.
Go ahead, Vance, go ahead.
So thank you. For the clarification of a number of things, as it is in front of you today, it came in front of you, and we talked at length in regards to giving, I believe it was $300,000 to Cleveland Housing Network as part of our contribution to help with paying rent a number of years ago. It is passed through legislation by city council. So we all have to work together. We all have to work together. Fussing and fighting ain't gonna get nothing done, right? But please, sometimes I sit and then it sounds like we're not giving you things, or we're keeping stuff from you, or we're playing hide and seek. And we're not. You passed the legislation sending Cleveland Housing Network sent updates. Everyone's on the email being updated. Director Leach came into the meeting last week and he stated that there were a number of communities that followed the county's lead. That followed the county's lead in putting the money in there. And it was disappointing to all cities in regards to the money that was actually allotted. If we don't reappropriate this money and use it, this money goes back to the federal government. And for those of you who dealt with federal funds before, if you use $2 this year, you have to ask for more, saying it wasn't enough, right? But if they give you 2 and you use 1, there's no way the next year they give you more than that. So we simply must use that money. I got the same document y'all had, right? And Willa just handed me the document of hers. It's not my document. It says right here, Terrace Road, Delmont, 3rd, Page, and Forest Hill. The 5 streets that's mentioned in the preamble.
But she couldn't read that.
We do all have to work together. We have to understand our roles and our responsibilities. And try to always keep in mind that we work for the residents.
Right.
That's what it is.
Thank you.
What is the deadline?
Time is up.
So
September.
Melrand, no, I forget what Melrand said, but that deadline has to be soon, and we need to get this reappropriated so that we can then utilize it. We can then spend it, right? This says October 19th, 2022 is on one of these documents, and I would have to believe that you've gotten this document. Matter of fact, I remember it was on the agenda to pass last year.
It was on, can I?
So thank you.
November.
It was, we did give the money, I remember it was on the agenda, we did give the money to CHN. CHN's had some difficulties because I think they had got more money and they had people to do the work, and the process to get into that system was difficult. I tried it myself, and I've been working on a computer a long time, and if you don't have a computer or a cell phone that you can operate correctly and know how to work through applications, you're not getting into CHN to get any money. Because I couldn't get in to get any money. And when not that I wasn't trying to get no money, I was trying to see if people could get in. And when I realized they couldn't, then I contacted CHN and tried to get in touch with them that way. Initially, when we had this process in 2021, they were responsive. But when I contacted them in 2022, they were not so responsive, I guess because there were so many problems going on with the project. Right. At this time, I guess I need to know, how do we fix it? And the deadline for the expenditure of the funds according to Mr. Leach is September of this year.
Okay,
So-
that's fine.
so you
We need to
remember-
revisit it.
Huh?
We need to have,
Oh, Director Leach is online.
yeah,
Oh,
but
wow.
it's not gonna work.
I got no speaker.
It's not gonna be-
Hey, one of the questions is asked about the deadline. When is the deadline that this needs to be passed? To change.
No, the money needs to be spent.
Do we ain't
So
changing
when does the
nothing?
money need to be spent?
Yes, sir.
we should all go to all of the housing units that we know of
Mm-hmm.
with a brochure that says you can get money to help with your rent. That is an essential thing, especially in this weather.
Yeah, because, I feel like the streets is going to be passed. If it's two legislations, one for the streets and one for the, money, these are two different legislations. So, we need these people to have money for their rent. Every city have some kind of program or something to give people for their rent. And even though you try, we gonna help you, okay? We gonna help you. We gonna make sure that they get money for their rent.
At one point in time, we discussed this.
The home,
I
our,
said there were three of us. We understood.
I know.
okay, but we
But
talking,
that is to be spent between now and 2030.
yes.
And it's different to have money to be spent by 2030 than it is to have money that we can spend now. That other money that's to be spent by 2030 is $911,000 that we haven't even applied for yet. We are eligible to apply for that. And if we do it right, we should get that money too. But
Yeah,
that
we have
is
that
not
money.
available.
He said we have it.
We have the 900.
Where?
That's not what he said on,
He did not say.
on Friday. We have to have something by March. You said in the meeting on Friday that by March, we have to have a public meeting and we have to put in our application. That's application by March. We wouldn't get that money in March. That's what you said on Friday.
So we already have
What?
From the year,
Come on, it's a year.
you know what?
sound like it's allocated, you just have to apply for it. That's hard, you just gotta apply for it, it's allocated, set it aside each week.
We are a direct entitlement city. Sorry to just jump in, but that money is our money. We just need to say what we're gonna do with it.
We don't have it yet.
We have the money.
Then why did Right, we can't use it until after we apply for it.
Yeah, because they want us to- we got it.
I think we understand that part, but how do we get this money out to the people that need it? Is where we are.
Ma'am?
And is that the best fit for what's happening? I mean,
And since it's a lot of, eviction court here, can we network with the, judge for this money? I know that he probably, don't know nothing about it either. No, but we have to get these people known that we have money for them,
but
case
this
if they
money
get
ain't
evicted.
going to them contractors.
It's not going, this money ain't going to no contractors. It's going to the people that needs home, their home pay, their rent pay.
It's too complex.
Okay, so, Mel
Right,
Ryan when
right.
can we sit and meet with you to get full details of what we're gonna do with the money and how we gonna, make sure that it goes into the right spots? Okay. Okay, anybody up for Friday, for a meeting? You know, we work.
Are you available all day Friday, Milron? Okay,
Okay,
thank you, he's
All right.
available all day.
all right, so we'll work with you to see what's going on. Okay, Friday is fine.
Well, we have a Thursday evening finance committee meeting.
Oh, okay, so that's fine, Thursday evening would be fine,
Be at the finance committee meeting
Thursday,
on Thursday. Okay.
okay. We got
So
money.
who's that that was speaking?
She's the community development director.
That was Melron Leach, the Community Development Director for East Cleveland,
The places were all the way across the street.
advising them how this allotted money has to be spent on COVID-related issues.
Needs to be paid, right, Keith? That money needs to be paid. Yes.
Okay, this is not no personal meeting, y'all. Come on, come on. This is not no personal meeting, we just need to do something else. All right, I'm gonna pass the gavel back to you.
God,
Oh, she got
The disposition on
Jesus
this,
It's tabled until Thursday's finance committee meeting at 6:30 PM.
right.
Hopefully this time, Mayor King, we can get it right.
Can you speak?
Can he
Can you speak?
Yeah.
Okay,
We would like the mayor to speak.
So,
okay, hold up.
so Madam President, as we stated last week in the meeting with the HUD reps, this particular legislation needs to be passed so that we can spend that money. If council wants to do rental assistance, we can do it out of the money we just got, the 900. That would give us the time to then set up whatever program you want to set up. You want to go and talk to the judge? We can go and talk to the judge. We simply don't have the time with the deadline looming on this money that's in front of us. And I'm asking that you guys pass it so that we do not lose this money and have to send it back
But the deadline is August,
August.
right?
to have it spent.
Right.
Okay.
That money is,
All right.
it's gotta be out the door, not committed, it's gotta be spent.
We got you, we got you, we gonna work with this, we gotta work with this, but we gotta see what we working with. So we know what we getting ready to do with it.
Okay?
You need this money, honey.
Oh my God.
Resolution 7322
Help me.
tabled
Help me.
to Thursday's meeting at 6:30. Resolution 76-22, a resolution authorizing the mayor to transfer Gutierrez and Geraldine Brown under the neighbor next door ordinance at a cost of $100, a parcel of vacant land held by the city as part of its land utilization program and located at 1843 Idlewood, East Cleveland, Ohio 44112, permanent parcel number 672-16-085. Requested by Mayor Brandon King, sponsored by Councilor Juanita Gowdy, placed on the agenda, regular council meeting agenda, December 6, 2022 on first read, placed on the regular council meeting agenda, January 17, 2023 on second read, Madam President.
Councilor Guy's legislation bears your name. What is your pleasure?
Yeah, and Geraldine here?
Mr.
Okay,
Brown is here.
Mr. Okay. All right, now. Come on down. The price is right, $100. So what are
Good
we
afternoon.
gonna?
Good
Good
afternoon,
afternoon.
Mr. Brown.
Jesus Christ.
What are you going to do?
Ignorance
with
is
the property
appalling.
right next door?
Just utilize it as a.
Part 3 coming up.